Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study about the concept of electric field. Electric field is the region around a charge in which its electric force acts. That means every charge has a region around it in which its impact or its effect can be experienced. That region is known as its electric field. The SI unit of electric field is Newton per Coulomb from the expression that is force per unit charge, force upon charge. The electrostatic force, which we have determined by Coulomb's law, divided by the charge. So its expression is F by Q and SI unit is Newton per Coulomb according to the rule that the SI unit of force is Newton and that of charge is Coulomb. So Newton per Coulomb. Also, we can determine the dimensions of electric field by the method of dimension analysis that we have learned in class 11. So the dimensions of electric field can also be determined. Now suppose we are having two charges, capital Q and small q. We are having charges capital Q and small q which are separated by a distance r from each other. Then the force acting on small q due to capital Q is given by magnitude is given by kqq upon r square according to Coulomb's law that we have studied in the last class. So this is the force acting on charge small q. Now the electric field, the expression for electric field is given by F upon Q as I explained just now. So the expression for force kqq by r square divided by q. Q and q get cancelled and what we have is the expression for electric field of the charge capital Q. Always remember that whichever term is in the numerator, the electric field of that charge is being determined here. So the electric field due to charge capital Q at a distance r from it. So electric field of charge capital Q at any point which is situated at distance r from charge capital Q. It is given by K, where K is the constant 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. This is the expression for electric field due to charge capital Q. Now electric field also obeys the principle of superposition just like the electrostatic forces, because electric field is also a vector quantity. So if in a region we are having n electric fields, E1, E2, E3 up to En respectively, we are having n electric field, and the total electric field or net electric field is the vector sum of all these electric fields. This is the principle of superposition. So in order to find the total electric field, we have to take the sum, vector sum, and 1 upon 4 pi epsilon, which is a constant, it is always common. So while adding, taking summation means adding, we take it out from all the terms and we have the constant summation of the term q by r square, like in the original expression. So here we have taken qi by ri square, where I can vary from 1 to n, and ri cap, most importantly, the unit vector ri cap, which represents the direction of electric field vector, because electric field is a vector. So its direction is given by unit vector. Yesterday also I explained you the importance of unit vector. So here also it is present because electric field is a vector. So in vector form, the relation between force and electric field can be written as F is equal to QE. This is the expression or the relation between force and electric field. Moving on, the next topic is electric field lines. Now the electric field is represented diagrammatically through electric field lines. So electric field lines are representation of electric field around a system of charges. As you can see, the electric field lines due to positive charge and negative charge are shown here. A single positive charge, electric field lines are radial and directed outward. So we say that the electric field lines of a single positive charge are radially outward. Radial means when you draw a surface around it, then the electric field lines of the charge are along the radius to that spherical surface. So radial, and directed outward. In the same way, the electric field lines of single negative charge are also radial, but they are directed inward, so radially inward. But in case of a system of two charges, two positive charges, you will see that the electric field lines are in the form of curves, and just like two charges repel, two similar charges repel each other, so their field lines are also directed in such a way that they are repulsive. While in case of two opposite charges, positive and negative charge, if a system of one positive and one negative charge is there, then the electric field lines are a different pattern as shown here. All these pattern you can get in your NCERT page 25. You have already been forwarded the PDF. You can see page 25. You'll get all these field pattern that you have to draw in your notebook also. Now there are a few properties of electric field lines. First, the density of field lines represents the magnitude of electric field. That means greater the density of field lines, stronger is the electric field. For example, in case of this positive charge, nearer to the charge, the field lines are closer to each other. That means the density is greater and field is stronger. As you move away from the charge, the field lines are far away, density is smaller. So the strength of electric field is also, magnitude of electric field is also lesser. So density of lines, greater the density of lines, greater is the magnitude of field. Density of lines represents the magnitude of field. Next property is the field lines are closer near the charge. As you go nearer to the charge, field lines are closer. That means density is greater. I have already explained. And they are separated when you go far away from the charge. The separation increases as you go far away from the charge. The next property is that electric field lines start from positive charge and end at the negative charge. As you can see, in case of a single positive charge also, they move away from positive charge. So they start from positive charge and they end at the negative charge. They move toward the negative charge. In case of one positive and one negative charge, they start from positive charge and end at the negative charge. This concept is analogous to the concept of magnetic field lines, where field lines start from north pole and end at the south pole of a magnet. In the same way, analogous cases there. Next, field lines are continuous curves, just like in case of magnetic field lines. And field lines never intersect each other. You have studied in class 10th that magnetic field lines do not intersect each other. The reason, because if they do intersect, then at a given point we will obtain two different directions of field, which is not possible. So the electric field lines do not intersect with each other. This is another property. So we see a few interesting facts about the electric field and the properties of electric field lines. One more interesting point that I would like to bring to your notice is that you see that when I have represented the electric field lines by arrows, the arrows which are nearer to the charge, they are longer, their length is greater, while the arrows which are farther away from charge, they are shorter in length. The reason, because you have already been explained or taught in class 11th that when you represent a vector by an arrow, then the length of the arrow represents its magnitude. So just like here in properties of field lines, we have studied that the electric field or field lines are stronger near the charge and weaker as we move away from the charge. So the length of field lines is greater where the magnitude of field is stronger. So length of field lines actually represent the strength of the electric field. The length of arrow represent the strength of the electric field. Moving on, the next topic is electric flux. Electric flux is the number of electric field lines crossing a given area. It is the definition is number of field lines, electric field lines crossing a given area. And mathematically, it is represented by phi. So for a small area delta S, the electric flux is given by E dot delta S. Now, a few things from your previous knowledge. Dot product between two vectors, you're well aware of it. And E is the electric field vector, and delta S is the area vector for a small area delta S. So suppose the electric field E is there, and the number of field lines crossing a small area delta S, that is electric flux. Electric flux is nothing but the number of field lines crossing a given area. So for a area delta S, small area delta S, the electric flux is given by delta phi is equal to E dot delta S. That is dot product of E and vector delta S. You must be aware that area vector is a vector associated with a given area. Its direction is always normal to the surface of that area. So E dot delta S, and I can also write E dot delta S as E delta S cos theta, because this is the dot product. So E delta S cos theta. Now here either I can bifurcate, because I got delta phi is equal to E delta S cos theta. So I can either write it as E into delta S cos theta. That means magnitude of electric field multiplied by horizontal component, cos component of area. Or I can also write E cos theta into delta S. That is cos component of electric field or horizontal component of electric field multiplied by delta S, area, small area. So both the ways, in the form of components of field or component of area, we can write it. Anyways, the expression for fluxes for a small area is E dot delta S or E delta S cos theta. And if I want to determine the total flux, this is only for a small area delta S. If we want to determine for a total area, greater area, larger area, total area, then total flux is summation of all the fluxes, summation E dot delta S. Now from the formula you can also determine the SI unit of electric flux. SI unit of electric field is Newton per coulomb, and that of area is meter square. So Newton per coulomb meter square, this is the SI unit of electric flux. Students always keep in mind that the expression for any quantity, along with that the SI unit is very important. You always have to mention the SI unit whenever you are using a quantity in a numerical or anywhere you're writing an expression, you're using any quantity, you're writing any number. If it is a quantity with unit, then you always have to mention its unit. This point has been explained again and over and again in all the classes since class 9. So you must be very careful, because this also carries marks in the exam. So this is all about today's class. Thank you.